the Ben Simmons fall-off will need to be studied for a long time going forward because he was announced to be out for the remainder of the season after only playing 15 games this entire season. And this is a guy that came in 2016 as the number one overall pick in the draft and was compared to young LeBron in terms of physical appearance and physical attributes. And I think a lot of people thought that he could be the next NBA superstar, especially after he came in and was an all-star only a couple of years into his career. In 2018-2019, he was averaging almost 17 points a game, 8.8 rebounds, and 7.7 assists. But a few short years later, he may be out of the NBA in its entirety. And after this season being shut down again, and after only playing 67 games throughout the past 2 seasons combined, and averaging about 6.5 points a game in those 2 seasons, I think it's fair to say that his career is winding down. And for a guy that only a few short years ago was averaging those same stats I mentioned before, it's incredible to think that he's going to be out of the league. But in all honesty, this has just been a roller coaster of emotion, and his health just has not favored him throughout the past couple of years, and also his mental health has really let him down. And I'm someone who's a very big advocate for getting help, getting treated for mental health illnesses, but I just see Ben Simmons as a case where he had so much potential, and both mental health and physical health have just let him down time after time. And you could see that he just couldn't get past his mental block to become the NBA player that he had the potential to be. Like I said, he averaged over 16 points a game twice in his career, and throughout the first 4 years of his NBA career, from 2017 all the way to 2021, he looked like an outstanding player, and he was going to be an amazing player for years to come. But at the end of the 2020-2021 season, he started to have issues with his mental health, and it was apparent because he missed the last portion of the season and the playoffs, and also before that even, he was looking timid on the court and afraid to shoot the ball. And as the starting point guard of an NBA team, especially one that hopes to go to the playoffs year in and year out, you need a point guard that's going to be more assertive on the ball and at least able to hit a mid-range shot, if not a three-point shot. But Ben Simmons was just not able to do that for a long period of time throughout his first few years in the NBA. And if you look at his statistics by themselves, he looked great. Even in that 2020-2021 season where he ended up not playing the final portion of the regular season and throughout the playoffs, he averaged 14.3 points, 7.2 rebounds, and 6.9 assists, and was one of the best defenders in the entire NBA. And even after that little stint at the end of the season where he was out, I thought that he was still going to bounce back the next year and get back to his old all-star self. But the problem was the next year he sat out the entire season with both back issues and mental health issues. And every time that he would set a date to come back, it would be pushed back by a couple of weeks or a month. And then by the end of the season, he was initially scheduled to get back, but ended up just not being available. And during that next season where he sat out, he did end up getting traded for James Harden to the Brooklyn Nets. And people thought that maybe he could get a new start, a fresh start in Brooklyn. But that next season, 2022-23, he missed the first portion of the season, and when he came back, he only averaged about 6.9 points, 6.3 rebounds, and 6.1 assists. And again, these stats look actually not bad when you look at them on paper outside of his scoring numbers, because 6.3 rebounds and 6.1 assists and 1.3 steals by themselves look like very good stats for a point guard, especially someone who at that point was only averaging about 25 minutes a game. But if you look at his scoring abilities, his scoring ability dropped from 14.3 points per game in his last full season in 2020-2021 with the Sixers to only 6.9 points per game and roughly the same amount of minutes that he in that same season with the Nets after he came back from his year-long excursion. And that's where it's just been frustrating to watch Ben Simmons' career, and part of it is not even his fault. This year he's had back issues, and his back has just been the issue that has kind of gone along throughout the past few years. And I don't know if it's fully his back and partly his mental health, but he just hasn't been able to stay healthy, and it's been very sad to see as a basketball fan who was rooting for Ben Simmons. I thought that he was going to be a really good prospect. And if he worked on his jump shot, I do think that he could have been a really good player in the NBA. You've seen a number of guys come to the NBA not really able to shoot all that well, but they make really good NBA careers for themselves because they put in time in the gym and get better at their three-point shot. Even a guy like Lonzo Ball came in with a funky-looking jump shot, but was able to become a really above-average three-point shooter by the end of his time. And now, similar to Ben Simmons, his injuries have kind of derailed his career. But I do believe that Ben Simmons had a lot of gifts in terms of physical abilities and in terms of basketball IQ. I think he sees the floor very well. That's why he's able to average a combined 7.4 assists per game throughout his entire NBA career, even factoring in the past couple seasons where his assist numbers have been down. But I do think that it's a very sad situation, but I do think that his Brooklyn Nets career and his NBA career are coming to an end after this season because he hasn't been able to stay on the floor long enough for a team to really trust him. And I think that if he can go to the G League and really prove himself again, I think that he could come back and make an NBA appearance again at some point in his career, as he is only 27 years old. But I just don't see Ben Simmons being a guy that can lead an NBA franchise anymore because of his off-the-court issues in terms of staying on the court, if that makes sense. And I don't think that his health will allow him to be a guy that can play 70 to 75 games a year and then go into a playoff run and lead a team to a championship. But I think that he could be a guy that, if he can prove himself in the G League, can come and be a bench player for a team and be a really good sixth man. That's about what I see for him going forward. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. God bless you all. I hope you have an amazing day. And make sure to subscribe to the channel because I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of March. God bless you all.